Hi, welcome to the Love Revolution channel, where the solution to the world of hatred is a love revolution emanating from Jerusalem, Israel. Now, I know that everybody wants miracles in their life. Well, perhaps not everybody, maybe not some of you. However, I know that most of you are yearning for supernatural, for the miraculous, for power in their life. And when I say power, I mean that in a good way, not in some maniacal fashion. And so I'm going to give you some insight on how to bring the miraculous in your life in 2017. And just like with anything else, people think that the metaphysical or the miraculous or being able to bring it in your life just sort of happens. Well, just like learning how to fly an airplane or somebody being able to fly an airplane, they get in the cockpit and start flying. It looks like it just happened because you didn't watch them, go to school and learn. However, with miracles in your life, it's the same way. Just like with exercise, typically it requires some sort of exercising, whether it's virtual or real. You've got to do some sort of exercises in order to see results. And so I want to talk about how to operate in the metaphysical. But before I tell you how to operate in the metaphysical, I want to first give you some factoids, some points of reference, some scientific information, since now we're in the information scientific age, that there have been some experiments and some research that has been done that lends credence to the ability to experience and to enlarge the miraculous in your life. Now, some of you may have heard of the double slit experiment. It's a quantum physics experiment, and this experiment is very easy to do. It's repeated in laboratories all over the world, but the consequences of the results are mind-boggling, because when particles are shot through a panel with two slits, even one particle, then the particle ends up going through both sides of the slit at the same time, and when they put detection devices in front of there, then the particles act like a particle again and only go through one slit, as if they know that they're being observed. And so the act of observing is there, which affects their behavior, and that's human observance. And also the particles themselves have an infinite amount of possibilities when they go there as a wave form. When they strike the plate with two slits, they're going as a wave form with endless possibilities. And so what that translates into is your ability, your human intention, we're going to get into that more, and ability to manipulate matter, because matter, as we can see in quantum physics experiments, that is mind-boggling the minds of physicists and quantum physicists all over the world for decades now, is this double slit experiment. And so let's watch it.
As the photons travel one by one, some through this slit, some through that slit, you would expect them to leave a pattern of two stripes on the wall. And you would be wrong. They mysteriously create a band of stripes. This is what you would expect to see if a constant beam of light shined through the two slits. It would spread across the wall like a wave. So how can single bullet-like particles of light create a wave pattern? This could only happen if the particles go through both slits at the same time. In other words, the particle is in two places at once. But strangest of all is what happens when you put detectors next to the slits. When the photons are being watched, the wave pattern disappears. Take away the detectors and the wave pattern comes back. This suggests that we can change the way reality behaves just by looking at it. Does this mean that reality itself is not real?
The modern answer is that the path taken by the photon is not.
And so what we're learning here is that there is more of an unphysical, undetermined, unreal nature to reality. And if one has done their research in the Bible, for instance, human beings are given authority on earth, and therefore when you claim your human authority and your human intention, you are actually able to manipulate the potentiality of reality certainly around you. And I'm going to give you some examples of that in a minute, but I want you to consider some other information in my preparation for this, and that is this proof that water crystals are affected by your intentions and your words. And so some of you have seen these experiments with a Japanese scientist who has repeated these experiments in laboratories around the world, and that water crystals are completely affected by human intention, human will, and human words, and they create these geometric shapes. Now, people think, oh, well, water is a crystal and therefore it's always creating geometric shapes. It's not true. You know, water that comes down in the form of snow, which has beautiful crystals and come down in soft flakes, is quite different than shards of hail or rocks of hail that come down pounding and hurting your head or breaking your car windshields. And so there's a big difference in water, and that difference is in the structure of the water, and that structure is affected by human intention, human will, human harmonics, your words. And so one should be careful with their words. Don't be dropping F-bombs all over the place, certainly not around me. But if you're dropping F-bombs everywhere, you're only hurting yourself, because the harmonics around you is creating an atmosphere of negativity, and that sort of negativity attracts more negative entities and elements in your life. And so we don't want to bring a metaphysical, miraculous negativity into our lives, do we? So that's not what this is about. But that's what a lot of people do, and they're taught that in movies. Think about the movie formulas. Is the formulas in movies are F-bombs, homosexuality, and G-damn. You know, those are all the formulas. You know, blasphemy, Sodom and Gomorrah, and negative harmonics. And people who drop F-bombs everywhere, they watch too much TV, they're trying to be cool, and that's how they think it is to be cool. But let's move on to bringing miracles in your life. So I'm trying to help you not bring destruction in your life with all these negativity. So we've got to make it positive. And so look at this other information from this researcher in Russia, very respected scientist, has done some research, and why don't you listen to this clip.
Can you directly influence the world around you with just the power of your mind? Although it might sound far-fetched, a leading Russian scientist believes we can do exactly that. And using a device that photographs human energy fields, he's attempting to prove it.
We are developing idea that our consciousness is an active part of our material world. And with our consciousness, we can directly influence our world.
To bridge our understanding of the unseen world of energy, scientific...
Okay, now I'm going to leave links to these water crystals, to the double slit experiment, and to this, so you can delve into this later. But let me just give you some examples of overcoming the physical with the metaphysical, with your intention. So, for instance, you might get a pain or a twitch or an extreme itch somewhere while you're walking down the street, and when you take dominion over that reality and say, no, I deny your reality, I deny your existence, my reality and my existence and my intention and my desire is more powerful than you. Go away. And it does. Okay, I've had that happen to me many times. One time, I can tell you how probably a good amount of sickness and disease, I don't want to put a number on it, but it's a high percentage of sicknesses and disease happens this way. For instance, you'll wake up one day, your back will hurt, and you hope it'll go away in a day or two or something, or go away the next day, and it doesn't, and it keeps remaining there, and you can't stretch it out or whatever, and you resign yourself that you're getting old. Well, guess what? That's what'll happen to you. You'll get old and you'll die before your time. Or a similar situation will happen, and you'll get these classic symptoms, and then you'll go to the doctor and you'll explain to him the symptoms that you have, and he'll pronounce what basically is a set of curses upon you. He'll say that you've got arthritis, or you've got this itis or that itis, and you'll say, yes, doctor, okay, thank you, and you'll accept the medicine, and the medicine, and then you'll get the disease. You will bring the disease upon yourself by accepting the curse from the doctor. And it may sound radical, to think that, wow, my doctor's cursing me, but that's how curses work. You go to somebody that you believe somebody has more power than you, a doctor, right? How doctors are heralded and honored, and that doctor tells you you have this, that, or the other. Who's going to deny that? Certainly not you, with your background and your credibility. And so you accept it. You accept the disease, and then you get it. Okay. And so, what were the symptoms in the first place? You'll ask me. Well, I had those symptoms. Certainly, that's why I went to the doctor, because I had the symptoms. Well, there are other entities around human lives that are manipulating human health so that they'll make you think that you have a disease, because they will mimic those same symptoms by manipulating a certain part of your body. I'm talking about demonic entities, other spiritual entities, not just all demons out there. There's all kinds of intelligent entities that are not human, are afraid of humans because we are fearfully made by God, and that we have the dominion here, and they don't like that, and they're working against us, and we can see that just by turning on a television and see that we're poisoning our planet, we're poisoning our food, we're poisoning our water, we're poisoning our skies, and this is all done government sanctioned. So this is all normal, and not to mention all the killings and wars that we have, and then meet at a club and commiserate called the United Nations. So this is the reality that we're in. It's an insane reality, and this channel is about promoting a love revolution by restoring the kingdom of David from Jerusalem, Israel, that will restore mutually assured prosperity by ensuring a justice system, ensuring a security system, and ensuring a monetary system based on assets that are available. So won't you join the revolution? Spread this information. Don't accept the physical around you that is negative. You don't need to accept it. You can deny it. And by doing it is having enough faith. You say, well, I don't believe it. Well, just try it. And by your act of doing it is demonstrating that you've got some level of faith. And you'll see results. You don't like the chemtrailing in your skies? Start taking dominion over it, converting those chemtrails into positive elements like vitamins, and working against, praying against those on a quantum level, those machineries, those elements that are creating the chemtrails or the poisons in your food or in your water. And so we've seen here that I have a lot of examples. If I wanted to dish them all out, there are all kinds of human intention experiments out there that are all registering positive, that humans absolutely do have the ability to change their environment around them. And the more you try it, just like with anything else, the better you'll get at it. You don't just get in an airplane and start flying great on your first day, typically. Although nowadays they've got simulators, so maybe you do, but you don't jump into the simulator and fly great the first time. So it takes practice. And the same thing with operating in the metaphysical. It takes practice, and that practice will lead to results. And those results will completely backfire on you if you try to use them in a negative way, because the world does have an immune system, and you don't want to trigger that response. You want to trigger a positive response by using your ability and your power to bring positivity and hope in the world around you. Please take the time to subscribe to this channel, ring that bell so you get notified, and like the video, spread the information, and let's spread the love and spread the miracles in 2017. Thank you.